I really observed, especially girls, how happy they are. Especially in Mumbai, they have to help in the their mothers in the household. They are mostly invisible in the houses. Boys have more opportunities. They play cricket in the gullies, in the streets, but especially girls, they should have this great opportunity in the classroom, in a safe space, and also within a play space, in an open space.
Welcome to Will Talks. Today I have Martina Mariaschpies, who's with us from Vienna in Austria. She's an architect. She's also been a teacher, teaching architecture to students who, have been learning about art and design and about architectural design. And today she's in India, and she's now based in India for half the time, and very deeply passionate about school design, about play, about playground design, and about spaces that make children really come alive, right? Really come alive. And I was just talking before we shot this podcast. I was just talking about, um, what Martina has been up to, and she was talking to me about this book that she has written. So, welcome to the Will Talks podcast. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Willy, for your invitation. I'm very fine in your school. It's really amazing how what you have done so far with the school. And thank you so much that I can be here today. So, yeah, it's really exciting. I'm from Austria and I had a wonderful childhood within the Alps. I had, the nature around. My house was my playground. And I remember when I built a tree house with my dad and with my siblings, it was the best childhood ever. And this I want to give back a little bit, to children here and also to Austrian children. So I founded a little organization called Anukruti. That means in Hindi, small creative spaces. And this should be, this should be a classroom as well and a playground, of course, too. And I've started the organization around 10 years back, and we started in a very small space in Car in Mumbai, where we created a wonderful play space for street children out of recycled materials. And I think now we have built around 10 to 20 play spaces and libraries so far. And I really learned a lot. It was a big and long journey as well. And we also learned out of mistakes, I think one of the most important things is to include the community. So I found out to include the parents of the kids themselves. It's so important. And the best architects of the play spaces are the children themselves. So to start with workshops, creative workshops with the children as designers of their play spaces and classrooms, that's the source of creativity itself. And the children also identify with the space where they spend a lot of time per day, because they spend half of the day in the classrooms, and it should be a joyful space. And the same is also valid for play spaces. So the classroom should be a play space as well, and vice versa. And the play space should be a classroom.
This is such a great idea, because I was reading this article in the US. There was a big drug problem with the youth, massive drug problem, and there were many people who came up with solutions. Some were talking about increasing the police protection, increasing fines, increasing cracking down on the drug networks. But there was this one architect who came and said, let us put more playgrounds. And they say, when you put more playgrounds and places where the youth and the young people can come, expend their energy, do something meaningful, purposeful, something which is related to sport, they start taking better decisions and wiser choices and staying away. And that's how the half courts sprung up all over the United States, and that really changed community. And that brings me to this amazing point that you raised, saying that half the time children are in the classroom, half the time they're in the playground. And what you beautifully said is they should be playing in the classroom and they should be learning in the playground. And maybe these two are not two separate spaces and they have to be one. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you are so right. And I really observed, especially girls, how happy they are. Especially in Mumbai, they have to help in the their mothers in the household. They are mostly invisible in the houses. Boys have more opportunities. They play cricket in the gullies, in the streets, but especially girls, they should have this great opportunity in the classroom, in a safe space, and also within a play space, in an open space. So I think that's really important. And I really observed that they are so happy that they suddenly have whenever we created a tiny play space for them, they are so happy and they have a reason to step out, onto a safe play space, what we created. And I think that's so important. And a safe barrier is always, or in most cases, the school itself, So you have a big responsibility as principal, So it's a very great social responsibility because the memories what children have, they are mostly, with friends, with play, in the school, the teachers. So these are the childhood memories. What we also have, of course, we do. Yeah, these are the best memories. Of course, family as well, but the common experiences, the common play, that is what I have still in my mind.
So, what is play? Is there a difference between a play, a game, a sport?
I think play is everything connected with creativity. So it can be also, you can also sit quietly and create your own game on the desk. Or it can be, free running or a playground, a very simple swing, where you can let your thoughts flow, and especially I'm still a child, my child is still within me. So I still enjoy going to the playground in Vienna and swing, and all my creativity comes through swinging,
Amazing. How do you design a playground?
I always design with the children. So I would sit with the children. Uh, for instance, I would go to one of your classrooms and sit with them. We would always start with a workshop all together because I'm not the user of their play space. The children are the users. So they should be also the architects of the space. So we always start with a workshop. It goes on for 2-3 days. And then we design all together. And then the best part of it, I'm sure some of the fathers are carpenters or, craftsmen. So we involve the families as well. And it gives a very certain identity to the space then. To involve the community, I think that's the secret tip and it's the most important thing.
So this whole idea of that working with the community and not for the community or working they are taking the central stage in terms of the design, in terms of utility, also gives them this tremendous sense of ownership that this is my space.
Exactly. I'm only a little helping hand in this whole scenario. I'm nothing else. But this is also a very joyful process.
What happens in that workshop? What do you talk about? Like, because I'm sure when you go up to children and you say, we want to design a playground, tell us how to do that, they may not have the answer. So how do you talk to them, and what kind of answers have you got? What memories do you have from these workshops?
So I think through drawings, it's always a great thing to do through creative drawings. I would just ask the simple question, how do you imagine your perfect play space? Or how would you like to play? You can express it by words, by drawings, by, simple little models. One workshop, it was very fun, much fun. One boy created lovely little models out of paper. So, out of very simple resources, you can create wonderful workshops and you can really foster the thoughts and creativity of the children.
Are there any like when you go to architecture school or something, I know a lot of things that you're probably doing now is not what you were taught in school structurally. Are there things like, oh, if you're building a playground, then it needs to have X amount of square feet per child, or it has to be in a particular way, or it has to have these five different things? Like it has to have a slide, it has to have like a swing, or it has to have this. And do playgrounds look different across the world?
Yes, they do. First of all, I don't think in these categories.
Oh,
I've never thought in that. So we call our playgrounds play flowers.
play
So play flowers.
flowers.
So every flower looks different. Every leaf looks different. So you can't break it down to these technical categories. You need a swing, you need a seesaw, you need this, that. Of course, swings are always very popular, I have to say. So swings are on each and every playground what we designed with the children. But you can't every that's why every playground looks so different. And also you can also put it in a worldwide context. Every playground looks different, but I have to admit, in Europe and in the US there are so many restrictions called TÜV, the technical regulations, where, nowadays a playground in Vienna looks like a cage because it has to be, super safe. It has to. So, of course, India is a paradise for that, to plan and to design very joyful playgrounds out of your mind and not out of a technical, technical regulation.
I love what you're saying, because some time ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I heard this thing that in the UK the playgrounds have become so safe that literally, even if a child wants, they cannot experience manageable risk. They just can't. They can't have the fear of uncertainty of, am I going to tip over the balance bar, or am I? It's just like completely devoid of that. And there were people talking about, how do we add risk now
It is crazy. It is crazy.
into the playground. And from that perspective, you mean in India it's paradise? I love what India is paradise right now, and we need to so there is risk that plays a big role in the development of confidence and strength and agility and all that in children. What do you think?
And it's so important to risk, to fall down. I have so many, oh my God, from my childhood, we were playing like crazy in nature, in the forest, on the mountains, everywhere, on the lakeside, everywhere where we could find, some playful topography
Mhm.
for us, for us kids. And the playgrounds nowadays, as I told you, and as you said as well, they are completely without any risks and they are boring,
Hmm.
very boring.
It looks
So
very
very
manicured,
dull, manicured.
very
Exactly.
very almost uh, lifeless.
Exactly.
I think a
Exactly.
playground, when you close your eyes and think of a playground, like, what comes to your mind? Like, is there mystery? Is there adventure? Is there small places? Is there large like, I don't know, because I have seen so many schools having these very synthetic playgrounds and calling it playgrounds. Now, there is a lot of value in these synthetic areas for athletic meets or sports meets or lane marking and things like that. But I think what you're saying is little more highly real and developmental for a child. It almost feels like what you're saying and what you're advocating is to help the child discover his or her childhood, truly enjoy
Exactly.
it, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And this, of course, creates also unique memories. This creates also a wonderful pool of self consciousness, for your future life. This also creates a wonderful bonding with your friends because perhaps sometimes you would need help on the playground. Oh, I fell, then my friend will help me, you know? And with these generic playgrounds, you don't have this feeling. What do you have? Nothing, as you
Hmm.
say. It's boring. Then I can sit at home with my iPad as well and create my own world with the iPad and play. But my body is not involved in that, not at all, fully involved. And I think we have to come back to this stage.
So a playground is not a football field
No,
only.
no,
A playground is not only a cricket ground,
not only.
right?
Yeah.
A playground is what? A playground is, and we can have so many answers to that. But
Yeah, there are a lot of answers. A playground, for me personally, it was, or it's still a very lovely creative playground is paradise. Paradise for your friends and with your friends, for your mindset, for your body, to run around. I think it is everything. It's a wonderful space without parents.
So it has to be without parents, where a child feels in control.
Exactly.
The child feels like, I can do this if I want to do this. And I can stop doing this when I want to do this. I can take this risk when I want to or when I feel like it.
I don't have to do.
I don't have to do. I don't have to do.
It should be a child's paradise, a child's paradise. And of course, in the case of Europe, we are a very aging continent, and you hardly see children anymore on the playgrounds because most of them are single children, single childs, also children. They go after school, they would go back home and they would spend most of the time, in their rooms and on in front of their computers. So I think we also have to bring, the joy back on the playgrounds, and we have to bring the kids out of their, secured spaces again.
So, for principals or school owners or anybody who's working with children, preschool owners or anybody like that who's working with children, should they start looking at outside their window for a playground, or can they start bringing these concepts inside as well and work with whatever space they have, indoor, outdoor, terrace, parking area, whatever?
Of course, inside.
What would you like to tell them? What would you like to share with them? Give them some ideas, something that they can start thinking about.
This is absolutely not restricted. I think the goal is to create a wonderful space for the children and also for the teachers. When the children are happy, the teachers are also happy. The principal is most happy then. So you have to, and of course, it always depends on the space, what you have. For instance, you have a wonderful space. I see so many opportunities here, to create also in between spaces, sitting spaces. Some kids don't like to play so much. They prefer reading. Okay. The library is also a play space for their brains, for their minds, So it should be a fluid space, your school. So if you break down some walls or, open up some spaces, combine it, the classroom can be also a library. Why not? Or an exchange for books, or for instance, in your school, and I'm sure it's valid for many other schools as well, there are a lot of opportunities to create wonderful play spaces within the classrooms too. And of course, it's very safe, you have a very safe, space here within, and perhaps you don't have an open space. So this can be also transformed into a wonderful play space. And most important thing is to stay flexible, that you can shift things according to, if you celebrate a festival, or if you, want to set up an exhibition. So, for instance, first step would be a workshop with the children, and then we set up an exhibition on the top floor. We inaugurate it. We give prizes to the kids, and then second step is to create the spaces.
This beautiful thing that I'm getting from this conversation is that learning is not different from play.
No, it's always connected. Learning is always connected with play, and also the opposite around. It's
so many mothers know that, and I'll tell you why. When a child does not come to the dining table and eat dinner, the mother runs after the child while the child is playing with his or her own toys and feeding her. you know so play need not just be devoid of learning, and learning need not be devoid of play. What I'm one big lesson I'm taking back is
Exactly.
combine, don't exclude, include, make it one fluid space where you're not sure, you don't know when. Blur those lines and create that space, because from what from what I'm taking away from this conversation is, in that place the child becomes the hero, the child becomes a leader, the child takes responsibility, the child is more open to learning, but he needs to feel safe, and he needs to feel like it's a beautiful place for him or her. And I think that is really nice. What would you like to tell, let's say, some school leaders who are listening to this conversation? What would you like to tell them about financial resources? Does setting up play spaces need to be big and large and huge, or and expensive? Does it necessarily have to be imported in containers? Does it have to be plastic? Things
No,
like
not at all. I would definitely recommend each and every principal be open, work together what you have, which resources you have. Perhaps, you have wonderful children with parents who also have a lot of resources through craftsmanship, and the materials, they can be easily resourced. We spend so much money on things which are not sustainable. So I think a play space or a joyful classroom is a great source of sustainability. And we are talking about costs of a very small sum when we think of other expenses, what we spend. So I would really definitely recommend be open for play, for joyful spaces, because then you make not only the children happy, but yourself and the teachers, the whole staff as well. And
I also think we should open the gates. And what I mean by that is, like, a school is working only 200 days out of 365 days. Saturday, Sunday,
exactly,
schools are off. And playgrounds. And if schools create joyful places for children to come and feel unique and powerful and wonderful and happy, you can't put those spaces behind a gate.
exactly, yeah. You can create a summer school, or a space when your school is closed, as you said. And then that I always experienced and observed, that the schools are 1/3 closed
Yes.
in whole India. And what happens with these spaces? So that's
It's a waste of resource.
exactly.
Big community wealth, right? This is community wealth. Uh, for So that is something that I think a lot of school people should be thinking of.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, that's
Tell
a
us
good.
something about this book that you're writing.
Yes, yes. So we are finalizing the publication Culture of Play in Mumbai and beyond. So it was partly it was a fieldwork within 3 communities in Mumbai, and we also collected very interesting articles of architects, urban planners, designers, and it's a very joyful book to read. So I've read the final version now over the weekend, and I'm really happy about it. So I think it's a very wonderful book, dense information about play and learn, play.
Yeah.
Let's play and learn and play. And I think it will be published around April,
Does the
May.
word play generally associate only to children under 6 years?
No, let's play together as well. No, for everyone. Also adults should play. So I think everyone. And this is, I think, still a lack of understanding in India. I observe that I think play should be also a part of the curriculum, that play is so important,
Play is different from PT, because there is a period
Yeah.
called PT, which
Yeah.
is called physical training,
Yeah.
where children do drills, mass drills.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
stand in.
Yeah. This is more
This is different,
connected.
right?
Yeah, it's more connected with sports. And you have to fulfill a goal, right?
Yes.
You run from A to B
It's a
and
skill.
to C.
Let's say.
Exactly. And play is free.
Wait. what's coming to my mind based on what you said just now is a child may or may not like a sport, but every child likes play.
Bravo.
So we
That's
got
true.
to create a
Yeah.
space where
Yeah.
every child likes to do,
Yeah.
likes to be part of, likes to be
Yeah.
participate.
That's true.
But not everyone may like cricket, or not everyone
Exactly.
may like football, or not everyone wants to do coco for that matter, or
Exactly.
table tennis, right?
Yeah.
There is choice there, but here inherently the child is magnetized towards that space.
Because it's free. It's free, it sets your mind free and you don't have any restrictions, while playing, you play as you like. And your sports teacher would always give you, you have to
Rules.
rules. Exactly.
Foul.
Yeah, fouls. Exactly. And play has no rules. And that's the beauty of play and the power of play.
Self-organization. Children learn self-organization, learn to work in teams, come up with problems, resolve conflict, have communication, help each other, right? I mean, it's just so powerful. What do you think like a school can do? Suppose over the next 1 week, a principal wants to say that they want to make their school a better play-oriented school. Let's say, okay, can they do something inside their classroom? Is that possible? And if it is possible, what would that possibly look like? Like inside, can you have a play corner? Can you have a play space? Does that make any sense? I'm just asking.
Yeah, of course. If you have a little, for instance, your two niches, what you
Yeah.
showed,
Mhm.
showed it, so you showed it to me before. So this could be also converted into a, for instance, not as a play, not directly play orientated, but it could be a little library, for instance, or
Mm.
where children bring their books and exchange the books, and or you can shift two benches out,
Mm.
and you could also put a nice a broader swing for
Mm.
swinging, and where you can also read, so you can connect reading with swinging, for instance,
Mm.
very small things, or a tunnel to crawl in a little children love to crawl into tunnels, so this
Mm.
is, you can just put one desk on the other, put the tunnel out, and you have a little play space, and you can put it together in 2 minutes.
So this idea that every class needs to look
A
the
little-
same is not right.
No, 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 no. not at
Typical
all.
floor plan, right?
No, no.
No.
But for instance, or you can, I was thinking right now, I've been thinking you can also provide a little play kit, with a, foldable tunnel, with a little, with 2 or 3 swings, what you can dismantle and put up in the classroom. For 20 minutes, the kids can play. You just move the tables
That's
in a
brilliant.
corner. Yeah, so very, a little play kit for every classroom. And it can look different for each and every classroom. The children can decide what they want.
So a play place is not a game place or
No.
a sport place. A play place is a place where children can come and do something what they want to do,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Which means there's massive hyper personalization. It's personalized to every child,
Yeah.
right? A game is not personalized to every child.
No,
a
no.
game is a game.
Rules again.
Rules.
Rules.
It's a set format.
Exactly.
Which means like inside one classroom, I may have some, like a space where kids can bring things and do a Jenga, for example, or kids can another place where kids can experiment with something, or another place where, as you said, there are books, right? There could be like books or something, and this could be just so dramatically different in every classroom.
Yeah, and they can visit each other, You can have a, once in a week or once in a month, it can be a, you can have guests.
Come see my play space.
Yes, exactly.
This is we're absolutely going to do this, right? We're going to do this together for sure. and just bringing in the teacher and the learning community, the small classroom there, and getting them to start thinking about how can they make this classroom more their own.
Exactly.
This is their room. And we deal with a lot of children who come from very small houses and don't have their own rooms, don't have
Even
their own
more
spaces.
important, you play a very important role. Yeah. Also space wise. And give them an identity, a playful identity.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Martina, for talking to us. Let us know how we can follow your work. What is the name of your company? Are you on any of the social media platforms?
Yes.
Can people follow you?
Of course.
When are you in, how do they reach you? Please share all this, because for people who really want to make a difference to a child's life in more ways than one, they should get in touch with you.
Yeah. So my organization is called Anukruti.org is my website. And you can also, we are on Facebook, Insta. So we are more than happy also to help you out, wherever in India you are.
So that's ANUKRUTI.org. Wow. So be it playful spaces inside classrooms, not the kind of types that you just import from a big country.
No. And it's also, a big business. Playgrounds can also be a big business. These generic spaces. Spaces.
You'd also like to evaluate people, if people are making their own schools, maybe you can take, because you're an architect, so you can take a look at the space layouts and drawings and maybe give them some suggestions, on some quick suggestions on what can be done. You're also open to, talking to people maybe on Zoom call and just seeing and think,
sure.
because the energy I get from you is you really want to make a difference to children's lives.
Yeah, and it's my passion. It's my passion.
Yeah, and you've decided to do it this way, in a way that is going to be extremely personal and developmental in the life of a child. So thank you so much, Martina.
Thank
for
you
being on the Will Talks podcast with us today.
Thank you so much.